Okay. How are you, sir?
How are you, sir? Very well. Good to see you.
Mr. Rick. Well, we are on live right now with you on YouTube.
Wow.
Yep. I like your vision. I enjoy your vision, your passion. And since I've come to, since your testimony, since your testimony on Kingdom Fruits, I've come to really admire, I've come to really admire the way you are been doing and how you've been very purposeful. And I've seen your videos and I've seen the way you have really taken off. It's like you didn't exist before. It's like you never existed on planet Earth. I don't know how to say that, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about.
I understand, sir.
It's like you never existed on planet Earth, and all of a sudden you burst open, and you just hit the wrong way in a big way.
All right, fine. Thank you very much, sir.
And so I'm very, very proud of you. Very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
I want to welcome the people we have on YouTube. I can't see them. I would like to ask people on YouTube to greet us. Okay, I have Nkechi here. And people say they can't wait to hear about you and about your story. Yeah, I think then I have VCN Media here. I have Godwin Okezi. We have a few people. I don't know if we are on YouTube yet. No, on YouTube we are on, sorry, on Facebook yet, which I think we are soon going to be on Facebook now. Justin Mayo is here. And so some people are writing that they can't wait to hear your story because they don't know you yet, so they want to hear your story. But what we are doing really is a book review today. It's not Kingdom Fruits because we already did Kingdom Fruits with Rick. So for people who did not witness that Kingdom Fruits, you can still go and watch it. It's there on the YouTube. Just go to Kingdom Fruits and you'll be able to see and write Rick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I cannot guarantee you that you'll be able to pronounce his last name. But but you will be able to find Rick for sure. And I will not start our fully until I'm told that we're on Facebook. I've not been informed yet that we're on Facebook. So once we get on Facebook, I will let you know. And so this is what we're doing these days. We thank God for the technology. Thank God for Facebook. And thanks to that, we can have this kind of conversation now. You remember the time we did the Kingdom Fruits? We couldn't see you.
No, we couldn't.
Yeah, it was audio. Yeah, but now see what is happening.
You do nice video.
Yep, nice video. You look very, very groomed and well fed. I can see that you're on your way to becoming a millionaire. And that is possible for everybody. That's what we should let people know, that is actually possible for them. That's possible for everybody. It's a dream that should come to pass for everyone, to dream to become a millionaire. Everybody should have that as their target and as their dream. Okay, I think we're on Facebook. I will ask my team to share it on my private Facebook page. Once they do, we are going to continue. I want to welcome everybody on Facebook as well. I've been able to welcome the people on YouTube, but let me quickly welcome people on Facebook here. Let me see who is there on Facebook. We quickly welcome you. You guys are going to be blown away by this book that we are going to review today, and by the reviewer because he is the one who edited the book for me. So he is going to give us a thorough job about that book. Well, we have Tracy here. How are you, Tracy? Welcome. We have Olushola, Miracle Hosting. I'm welcoming people on Facebook now. Oluwaseyi Michael, Shiro Murage. We have Maida Orenuga, Deborah is here. Gift Blessing. Michael, yeah. We have Bakari Ayodeji here. John Victor. And Eniola is here. And I'm sure many more still coming. Please, as you are coming in on Facebook, on YouTube, Shinasa is here. And yeah, all the people who are joining us on Facebook and on YouTube, please go ahead and invite your friends. Tell them that something is coming alive again. Life is coming their way. Life is coming their way. Because with this book that we are going to review today, you are going to have so much life. If you cannot read it, because I assume that it's not readable, right? But the title is, What Do You Do With Your Time? That is the title of this book. What do you do with your time? What do you do with your time? It's not time management book. This is much more than time management book. I've read some time management books, and I don't write time management book. This is not a time management book. This is much. It's a life management book, you could say.
Wow.
It's better to call it that way. It's a life management book. Let me tell you some of the ideas in this book. Number one, how to live on purpose. This book is going to teach you, because your life, why I call it life management book is because the book is talking about time, but time is equal to life. So if life is time and time is life, your life is the subtotal of the time you have. So the idea is how to manage your life by managing your time, and how to prioritize your time and thereby prioritizing your life. So that's what this book is about, how to live on purpose. And then the power of purpose. How do you spend your free time? Time must be converted. How to convert time. How to be effective with your time. How to, manage life, because time is life. How to assess your time in days. How to assess your time in days. How to create value daily. How to produce something measurable with your time. Where are your products? Your life, every minute of your life or every hour of your life, you must be producing some product. Your life must be producing fruits every day. So this book here will just help you to get ownership of your life back. You will take a hold of your life back. And this book is not just going to be reviewed by Rick as a reader will review it, but he's going to review it as a writer will review it. And then he's going to also tell you his story, how reading this book has really made him to reshape his life, and how his life is taking shape just because he got a hold of the truth that are in this book. It's not a small book. It's a book that's over 200 pages. So it's a book that you are going to be well fed after finishing reading it. And of course, for those people who don't know how to get my books, just write to Gmail, dsabooks@gmail.com, dsabooks@gmail.com, or you could go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books, book or books, sundayadelajablog.com/books. So here we are. Let me introduce to you today the man that is very well familiar with this book, because he edited it for me, and he also is practicing it. He knows what is in this book. But let's get introduced to him. How are you, Brother Rick?
Hello, Dr. Sunday. How are you doing?
I am doing fine. Well, I am, like I said, I've been very encouraged by your story, by your testimony, and especially considering where life had thrown you, a year ago, or a few years ago, and how you are able to galvanize your energy and get yourself back together, get back on your feet, and you are now doing so many things at the same time. I am actually not looking at the results you have right now, but I'm looking into the future. I'm looking into the next 5-10 years, because the things you are putting in place right now will make you to be able to control your future. And that's why I think that you are actually the best person to comment on this book. So introduce yourself to our viewers. People are watching on YouTube and on Facebook, and they all want to get to know more about you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Rick Matsoko Tere. That's Rick Matsoko Tere, and I'm from Zimbabwe.
Matsoko Tere is not Zulu, is it?
No, it's Shona from
It's
Zimbabwe.
Shona. It's Shona. So you are from the Balawalo area?
Bulawayo. That's where the Ndebele are from, the other part of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
We're from the other part. We're the other guys.
The Shona is the other guy. So the Shona is the biggest.
That's the main.
That's the main tribe.
The main tribe of Zimbabwe.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
But Shona is Shona not similar to Zulu?
I guess it's a Bantu language. They're from the southern, so they got certain similarities. And in fact, my grandmother is Zulu. My grandmother.
Will you understand a bit of Zulu when they speak?
Ndebele Mo, which is our language, which is Ndebele from Zimbabwe. I understand that a bit, and that is very related to Zulu. That is very similar to Zulu.
Okay, Ndebele is the one that is similar. Because the reason why I thought it's similar to Zulu is because when I listen to some songs from Zimbabwe, they sound similar to Zulu's. Some songs sound similar to Zulu songs. So I thought it's a common language.
Oh no, they're related. The languages are related, so there's a lot of similarities there.
Okay, but you don't have a national language, do you?
I don't. So English is the official language of Zimbabwe.
Just like in Nigeria, eh?
Yeah, and then Shona and Ndebele are equally. They're equally looked at as the the other languages, the other official languages of Zimbabwe.
Okay. Well, you don't live in Zimbabwe now. You are in England.
Nope. But now I live in England. I've lived in England now for 2017, 15 years now.
Okay.
So I live in Derby in the UK, which is in the Midlands.
So you are British. You are a British citizen.
I am British. Yes.
Okay. British. Because you know what I discovered. I used to go to England a few years ago, and I discovered that there were so many refugees or so many people from Zimbabwe. But what surprised me is that even though Mugabe was still in power, but about 2, 3, 4 years ago, they started sending a lot of them back who are not British citizens. They refused them, and I'm surprised. Why should they refuse them when the government was not changed? I don't understand that. So a lot of the people that I know about, somebody even told me there were a lot of Zimbabweans in one church, but they were all without papers. That they didn't give them about 200 people left in London. So I don't understand that politics. What do you say about it? Do you know about this at all, or you don't know?
It's unfortunately in the community it's a big problem. It's a big issue, but I haven't seen it as much, but I know of it very much. Like the papers issue is can be very tough.
But then the good thing about Zimbabweans, or the interesting thing about Zimbabwe is that when they deport them, they actually go. When they deport Nigerians, they won't go anywhere. They will find a way, get another passport or run away or do something. They will find a way of not going.
We're not yet as sophisticated as Nigerians, so very soon. Yes.
I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry. Get yourself introduced to the people.
The story. Yeah, so everyone, like I said, I'm Rick Matsoko from Zimbabwe. But I've lived in the UK now for a long time. And I met Dr. Sunday Adelaja last year. It was around, I would say about July time, or July, August last year. And, in my Kingdom Fruits, I speak a bit more about what happened. But, and I'll say a bit about what my life is as we go. But this book, What Do You Do With Your Time, literally changed my life. It flipped everything. This book, What Do You Do With Your Time, flipped my life around. Literally, I changed the way I live from on a fundamental level, like the times I wake up, everything. I changed because of this book, and it is because of this book here. Working through it and editing it, because I had to spend so much time with the material of the book, it literally got inside me, and it has changed my life indeed, allowing me to take my life from back. At the time when I started reading the book, at the time when I met Dr. Sunday Adelaja, I was in a really, really bad place. Is it okay for me to talk about that?
You should. You have to. so that
Yes,
people
yes.
will get where you are coming from.
Yes. I was in a very bad place. I'd arrived in the city of Derby, not by choice. I'd lived in another city for 12 years before that. But now I got here. I was separated from my wife, divorced now, had no job. I was depressed. I was basically just about to get into depression. I was highly stressed. I was even struggling to sleep. I would wake up, hyperventilating. I was dead broke, like I said. My business had exploded. I like to say exploded spectacularly, because it wasn't even a small thing. It was really bad. Spiritually bankrupt. I was spiritually bankrupt at the time. I was struggling to even like trust that God had even called me. I was starting to doubt that. And I've been a Christian for a very long time, 20 years plus. And I've known that I've been called for a long time. In fact, I was working, knowing that I'm going to go into ministry in life. But at this point, I was thinking, because of the failure I had as a husband, I was just thinking, does God even still, if I failed like this, then maybe God hasn't called me after all. I shouldn't be doing this. And so I found Dr. Sunday Adelaja at the right time. I definitely found him at the right time. I'd been messing around with many mentors. And because I was so in a depressed, stressed place, I think the good thing was I couldn't listen to all my many mentors that I had, because I had a mentor for each section of life. I would listen to people like T.D. Jakes, Dr. Mike Murdoch. I'd listen to many different people. But because at that time I was really feeling stressed, I was struggling to actually listen to them. So I just needed one thing, and I came across one of Dr. Sunday Adelaja's messages online. It was one of his daily broadcasts. I think at the time, actually, it was why joblessness is a blessing. And I think 2 days after that, you actually spoke, what do you do with your time? I think you actually gave the message, what do you do with your time? And I connected with Dr. Sunday Adelaja. From then, what do you do with your time has helped me really see time as an asset to rebuild my life. And that is what I have done slowly, because it had to come with stages. I'm not going to say that I got to what I am now, the products I'm producing now. It didn't just start there. I needed to use the time to heal myself first, get to a place where I was healed, and then slowly rebuild that foundation and get back to a place where now I can be effective for the kingdom of God.
Now, what is it that Pastor Sunday, what is it that he speaks about, or what is so different about his books or his messages that made you to listen to him when you stopped listening to T.D. Jakes or Mike Murdoch? Who else do you have there? You have another Zimbabwean there, right?
It was Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Tudor Bismarck.
Bishop Tudor Bismarck.
Yeah, from Zimbabwe. And there was also Joseph Prince from Singapore.
Joseph Prince. So you couldn't listen to these people anymore,
but
you were able to be ministered to by whatever Pastor Sunday was saying. What is really fundamentally different in the messages of these people and these Pastor Sunday's messages that got your attention?
Okay, I think when I think about it, when I reflect on it, I think the thing was that as much as I respect these men and women and everything they do, they're amazing people, they're great people of God, very cold. But there was a certain just one dimension. It was very one-dimensional, the way the messages were. So, for example, there was a lot of preaching of the word, which is fine. And I knew the word. I'd spent 20 years in the word. I'm a very studious person. I'd spent a lot of time concentrating on these things. But I was struggling to find ways to apply it properly into my life.
And that is a challenge that we all have to face in Christianity, that the way, and we have to actually, I think we need to, there is a reformation that is needed in the way church is done and the way our pastors are preaching. Because if you maybe you will not be free enough to talk so boldly, but I would say that what I personally have noticed that a lot of people, the things they speak about and the way they preach is almost like they're all copying one another. It's almost like it's always the same thing, you know. So if you keep on listening to all these same pastors who are having the same style and the same message, basically, then it doesn't apply, you know, it's just like you have been vaccinated. It doesn't, you know, appeal to you, and it doesn't catch you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, I was very much vaccinated. Like it was like it was no longer, it was no longer hitting this. It was no longer getting inside the word. And I think one thing you did, and one thing Dr. Sandra Adelaja's message did, was you always brought it back to life purpose, to the fact that I had a purpose in life. And I think if I was going to say anything about like your messages, it always, even when you were speaking about time and when you were speaking about jobs, whatever you were speaking about, you always brought it back to you have a purpose in life and you need to find it. You need to spend time finding that purpose first. Because you see, again, I was almost now a professor of the Word of God when it comes to head knowledge. But because I didn't know my purpose, I didn't really know my purpose. So I couldn't fit that word in any particular place. I couldn't fit it in any particular place of my life. That was my struggle. So when you started saying, okay, I'm speaking about purpose, so I had to go find the purpose messages and listen to them. Then I started understanding how to build and how to rebuild my life. And then all your messages they were almost like a jigsaw puzzle, all your different messages, because your messages, there are a lot of them, very many sectors of life, many, very, very many. I'm not even joking. There's so many. But it was like pieces of a puzzle coming together. And because you have that common thread of always saying, you know, if Christians understand their purpose, when Christians understand what our purpose is, then that really spoke to me. That is, I think for me, that was the biggest part that spoke to me. That was the part that changed my life. It was almost as if you were coming out of the screen and speaking directly to me when you said that. Like the minute you put it all towards purpose, you are now speaking to the individual. You're no longer, a lot of these messages are for the masses. A lot of these messages are general. A lot of these messages are, I don't know if you understand what I mean, but the minute you start speaking about, Dr. Sandra Adelaja starts speaking about purpose, it really then spoke to me, and that was so appealing. That really, really, it put everything together. Even all the things I'd learned many years before that, they all come together now.
Tell us again the state you are in at this point. You had lost your marriage, you lost your job. Were you in depression or something?
I was approaching depression. I would say by the grace of God, I knew to go back to church straight away. So I didn't go into full-blown depression. So I went to do a very basic course. I think it's called Freedom in Christ, where literally I just spent many, many weeks just understanding the basics that Jesus loves me again. Because that was the stage I was in. I was near depression. I was very near depression. I would cry. I would spend some of my time crying because I now was living with my mother. So I was living I was sleeping on my mother's sofa.
Even though you were living by yourself before, you had your own family before this.
We had our own house, we had everything, we had cars, everything.
Wow.
Yes, and now we lost.
And you were an IT specialist at that before.
IT, I was an IT guy back where I lived. That was the job I had. I had to move back when I moved to Derby. I had to sleep in my mother on my mother's sofa in her front room. It got to a place. I think I had to take a job delivering newspapers. So I would borrow my mother's car and deliver newspapers around this city at 5 a.m. for next to nothing, less than minimum wage. It was less than minimum wage. That was the first job I could get. Yes, I would sleep. I would always be, trying to think, what did I do wrong? And that was just killing me. It was making my mind, I couldn't concentrate on any of the things. Whenever I tried to do something, I would say, let me try and, can I rebuild my business? But my mind could not concentrate on that because I I was in a very, very bad place. But then there was a lot of stress. I'm trying to think. I think some people sometimes they call it like when you feel like there's terror, like you almost, if when you close your eyes and try to sleep, you're having nightmares all the time, and you really, really get to that place where your mind is really messed up. That's what was happening at the time. If it wasn't for a very, very solid foundation in God, I think I was saying to somebody that one thing about me in my past, my father died a long time ago, and he unfortunately committed suicide. And I'd always thought to myself, what does a man think about when he commit suicide? I was like, that it would never, at that point, I think there was a time when I said to a friend that I actually understand now what a person could be thinking for him to take his own life. I would say I didn't want to take my own life, but I understood where a person could be mentally to take their own life.
So you were near the abyss. You were really near the borderline, Satan was... I think, you know what I think happened? I think Satan actually saw that there is a great future for you. And it decided to attack you before you discover that future. And it's going to be interesting that in the midst of that, despite that, the Bible says when you are going through the valley of the shadow of death, it will be there. And that's what happened to you, because it is in that valley of the shadow of death that you actually discover this book.
Yes.
And the book is, for people who are just joining us, What to Do with Your Time. That is the book. Mm-hmm. Tell us about yes.
There are many. One thing that you always say, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, is that in the midst, one of the things when you're looking for your calling, you look at your past experiences, some of your past experiences. And even though I haven't yet listened to it, you have a series on problems. And I really, really believe that this happened to me. Yes, the most terrible time of my life ever, the most terrible time. But I found in that probably the best thing ever. I found my purpose. In the most terrible time of my life, in that valley of the shadow of death, I discovered you. I discovered the book. I discovered the book, What Do You Do With Your Time? And the way I put it is, I had so much time, because now that I was in that doldrums, now that I was in the bottom, scraping the bottom of the barrel, now that I was at the bottom, the one thing I had was time. I had no money. I had no job. I had no
family,
relationship.
No family. No wife.
All this. So what was the one thing I did have? Time. And that, discovering this book, What Do You Do With Your Time, then allowed me to get out of that mindset of depression and, oh, woe is me, my life is so bad, just moaning. I got out of that complaining and moaning and, life is so bad. Then I understood, okay, I can do something. You were always reinforcing in the book. You were always reinforcing the one thing that I do have is my time, which is my life is my time. At least I was alive. Many people did not come out of situations like this. Many people actually died. Many people killed themselves. Many people, got into some really bad behavior and ended up dying. But me, I was alive and I had time. So,
but the problem is that people really don't know what to do with their time. Even though you are aware that, you have time, but still you didn't do anything with your time until you came across the book. So also, millions of people, they don't even know time is worth anything. Tell us about that. Yeah.
They don't. The funny thing is, I thought I was actually I was better than many people. I was like, I know. So I contacted you and I was like, oh, Pastor Dr. Sunday, can I write some books for you? And you gave me a chance. Thank you very much. But I thought I was actually better than most people. I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I really read the book and I realized that I knew nothing.
Wow.
I realized that, and unfortunately, I think one of the biggest hindrance to knowledge is that we people, we think we know already. We think we know. People we're so maybe, oh, I've been in church, I've been a Christian for so many times, I've been to a time management course, oh, I have read this person, that person, what they say about time. If you are humble enough to pick up this book, and I challenge you to read even just the first 2 chapters, you will know very quickly that whatever you thought you knew about time, Dr. Sunday Adelaja takes it to a whole new level, shows you truths that are fundamental. The fact that time is the building block of the universe itself. When we are thinking about our minutes and our seconds in life, we never think about that. We're just thinking, oh, time is this thing, oh, I need to get to a meeting on time, all this. But we just don't understand that this is an asset. Time is an asset. And people don't know that. People don't know that. I think, unfortunately, Christians are even worse. We Christians are even worse than everybody else on understanding things about time. I think the world probably understands a little bit more than us. If you consider how much time we waste in some of these church activities, we are even worse than the world. We're even worse.
Now, where do you start? Let me do that. Let me ask you this. What will be the 5 or 10 points, 10 takeaways, or 5 to 10 takeaways from this book, and explain them that you want everybody that is watching to really catch?
Thank you. That's a great way to go into that, because I was really preparing for this. What I'll do is maybe I'll do them all. I'll go with them. So I was thinking about listing them first, but I think it would take too much. Like I'll do them. I'll go through them.
Yeah, each one and you explain, right?
Yeah, explain it. I think that's the better way. First of all, I think the central message of the book is that time must be converted into products.
But I have read so many books on time management. That phrase you just made now, I never read it anywhere. I've listened to Tony Robbins. I've listened to John Maxwell is my friend. That phrase, I never heard it anywhere. I don't know of you. Maybe you heard it in time we're talking about time. I don't know, but I never read it or heard it anywhere.
Like I say, Pastor Sunday, I've been a student of personal development. I've really enjoyed personal development for so many years. So I know these people. These are Tony Robbins of the world. These are Jack Canfields of the world, and everything they do. I've almost like a nerd. I'm a nerd in that kind of arena. Not even once did any person say that. I have read about probably 6 or 7 John Maxwell books. All those men and women, not a single person said that. And that's why I was, in my notes that I wrote for this, that phrase is in bold. I put it in bold.
Repeat that phrase again.
Because the central message of the book, What Do You Do With Your Time, is that time must be converted into products. Time must be converted into product. If there is no product, everything else that we are doing with time is useless.
So
everything else is sideways.
If there is no product, I've not lived.
No proof that I have lived if there is no product. Like, it's just sideways energy. It's a lot of activity, a lot of things, like a lot of talking. And in my case, that's me. Like, I like to talk a lot. A lot of us, there's a lot of talking, a lot of, oh, I want to do this. But if there is no product, it is nothing. And just to define. We need to be careful how we define how do you define a product?
Tell us. People want to hear. It's deep. They say, how do you define a product?
How do you define it? That floored me. When you spoke about that floored me. Things like I have children, or I'm a married man, I'm a married woman.
Dogs and animals and pigs, they do the same thing.
They have children. They have children.
So that is not counted. We don't count those things.
No, they're not counted. The things to say, and one particular line that you said, and I think another thing that was very powerful for me in this book is that laced through the whole story of the book is your story, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, of how you learned how to convert.
Share something with them too.
Yes. So there was a very funny thing in there where you yourself, when you were a young Christian, you were going. One of the things you used to measure how successful your time was saying, "Oh, I'm still a Christian. I'm still a Christian this year." So.
I'm sure there are still some people in that category. I'm not backsliding yet.
You put into words what we were thinking. That's the thing. I may not have said it, but that was the thinking. Oh yes. Oh, thank God I haven't backslidden this year. And we think that's a product that we have. But the product is something that must be tangible. Something that is of value, that is of worth, that you are adding. And for me, that was my product. That was my problem. I had no product.
And at this time, you are not 12 years old or 15 years old. You are like 20-something or 30-something.
Yes.
And
32.
And you had no product.
And I had no real products, no. If I had them, I'd done them by mistake a long time ago. Like I didn't even.
Now, but the problem is that we have churches, we have Christians who are filling our church buildings. I mean, there are millions of people going to church, grown-up men and women, like adults, 40, 50 years old, who cannot point to one product of the life they have lived and spent on this earth.
No, and that is not. That really almost breaks my heart. And imagine how much it breaks God's heart when we say we follow God. We say we are the representatives of God on this earth. I thought I was a leader. I was a leader in the church that I was in, and I didn't know these things. I wasn't being taught these things. I didn't know how to convert. And you say in the book, another point in the book, you say is that to know what to do with time is to convert one day, is to convert a day. And to convert a day is to produce a product in that day. I even wrote that down because that really, really got me. That if you want to know that you know what to do with time, you must take a base. In the book, one of the things you take is the base time unit of a day. And you break that and say, okay, let's just measure one day. What product has come out of that day? If there isn't, if the sun has come up and the sun has set and there is nothing, all I've done is go to a job, come back, eaten, had some food, gone to the toilet, come back. What is that?
So job is not a product. That's another point.
No, that is not a product. In fact, as I was speaking about purpose at the beginning, the product has to be in your area of purpose. When you're in the job, you're producing products for your boss. You're producing products for your company. And they are reaping all the rewards for it. They are the ones that get the rewards for the product. All you get is some time. But that comes to another point that I'm going to come in with the job, because you really, really hit that. But my days were just passing, Dr. Sunday Adelaja. My days were that, in the end, they just become like a blur. Like, you'd wake up on Monday morning go, take a shower, go to work, kiss your loved ones, go to work, have a chat at work, go to lunch, spend some money, come back, watch TV, hang out with, talk to your family and all this, and then you're asleep again. And unfortunately, Tuesday would be like that, Wednesday like that. It was like a blur. Or it was Monday one time, it's now the weekend. Now the weekend, you do some other things. Sunday is just gone for church. You're just in church. Sunday is just like that.
No product.
No product. And you're back to Monday. And we are, even right now, as I'm at work, a lot of the people in my job were like, oh, guys, it's Christmas again. It's almost Christmas again. Because it's like a blur. It was Christmas the other day, and now it's Christmas again. And then you look at your life, what did you produce? Did you produce any product?
Some people don't even ask themselves those questions about the product. They don't even know their life is supposed to be measured by the products that they produce. They've never even heard of that before. Many people have never heard of these things before.
But many people don't even define what a product is. They've never even said, sit down and be, wow, what is a product? Is my life meant for anything else? Rather than, reproduction, going to parties, being a son, a husband, a father.
Go to church.
Those things are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing those things. But the products are intentional. The products, you think about them. You think about it and you say, no, with purpose. Let me do something that was true. You say in the book, another thing in the book that I learned was that there are 3 ways that you can spend your time. You can either waste your time, you can spend your time, or you can invest your time. There was another big wasting, spending, investing time.
So what's the difference between the 3?
When you're wasting your time, let me just explain the difference. When you waste your time, it's just that time is passing. The time just passes like this, like you open a tap of water and the water just goes and it just goes down the drain.
Yep.
So it's flowed, but it's just flowed down the drain. It hasn't been used for anything. And that is, a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to relax. Or, when you sit and you just get lost you don't even know. If someone even asked you, what were you thinking about? You're lost in your thoughts, and someone asked you, what were you thinking? You don't even know. You don't even know. You just, oh, nothing. I was just sitting, doing nothing. And time just goes. You wake up, and, before you know it, it's noon. It's midday.
Because you've gone to work, you've come back, you're just going through the motions.
You're just a spectator of life.
Ooh.
You're just looking at life, just passing. And that wastage, that wastage, that definition of wasting time, Dr. Sunday, around the time that I was writing this book, I moved house. I finally managed to move out of my mother's house. I got rid of my TV. I was like, I don't need a TV in the new house.
That is one of the key things that people waste their lives on, don't even notice it.
It's television. It's television. The amount of hours you can spend. Because there will always be a good show. There will always be good entertainment on TV. Always. That these people they are paid to help us waste our time. So they will always, you can never say, oh, let me just wait until this good show finishes. There will be another good show coming up.
Then you have the movies, then you have the Nollywood.
Oh, so many ways of entertainment. That is wasting. The second thing was about spending time. And this one is a tricky one.
Okay.
Because a lot of us, we do it and we think that we are producing products. And this is when you take your time and you exchange it for money. And that is the job. A lot of the time with the job. So in a job that we're spending time. So we're taking the time, breaking it down into 8-hour chunks, like an 8-hour shift or 12-hour shift, whatever. You're breaking it down and you're just exchanging it to your boss. So yes, you get something, and this is where spending time is a little bit better than wasting it, because at least when you're spending it, you get a little bit, you get something, you get a little bit of porridge, you get a little bit of porridge there. But still, it is not the best thing you can do with your time. And it's so much wasting, you get nothing for your time. So the time just flows like that. And lastly, you can invest your time. And investing time is when you take that time that you have. Because it was going to pass anyway. Time is going to pass anyway. You can't stop time. So when you're investing it, you do things with your time so that you get some things in return. You multiply that time.
So that has to be purposeful then.
That has to be purposeful. This is where, and this is now the way I live. Ways you can invest your time is you add value to yourself. You add value to others, or you use that time to produce products.
Now,
and
if people don't know the book we are talking about, this is the book we are talking about. It's called What Do You Do With Your Time? What do you do with your time? If you don't know this book, if you are looking for something to give to somebody, especially the next year coming, this is time. The years are time. So what did you say? You said you add value to. You said that again.
To invest time, you have to add value to yourself. You add value to you. You add value to others, and you add value to some kind of product or service, or you produce a product or service. You produce goods. You produce tangible things. And this is one thing, Christians, we have to do this. A lot of the things we're doing in church, they're not tangible. Yeah. So they don't qualify as products. Because if they're not tangible, if they're not physical, if they do not help in the physical, if they do not add value to your town, your city, your country, it's not a product. It's not a product. And for me, I realized that to be effective, I must invest my time. I had to stop wasting time. That had to go altogether. Spending time, sometimes you kind of have to do it if you have a job and you haven't yet, but again, understand the difference between spending it and investing it. So you can't spend the lion's share of your time at work. This is because it doesn't make sense. If you spend most of the time at work and then a small time investing, it's not good. Whereas if you spend a small time spending time at work and a large amount of time investing, you are doing so much more for you, for your purpose, for the kingdom of God. And that's what I do. Ask this. A very, very key question to ask is, when you have free time, what are you doing so that it is not wasted? When you have any free time, this is now a question I ask myself. When I have free time, what am I doing so that it is not wasted? Am I reading a book? Am I making myself smarter? Am I researching something? Am I actually going and helping somebody and helping them? Or am I just sitting there just like, I need to sleep again for the 12th hour of the day. I want another nap. You're going for another nap. You slept for 8 hours, now you want another 3-hour nap. Life can't be like that. And unfortunately, that's what my life had been before.
Because to be able to live like this, so somebody has to live for a concrete purpose, not just for purpose, but for a concrete goal. And somebody has to be consciously aware or constantly aware that he is actually pursuing. He's racing against time. He's racing against time. And he has to be so purposeful that he's targeting some results at the end of each, block of his time. Maybe at the end of the month or at the end of the day or at the end. So you have to really be pursuing and racing, fighting against time so that your time is not stolen, but you are actually maximizing it. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It is. It is a war to get your time, to wrestle it out of the hands of all the different distractions and people, the devil, who are trying to take it from you. You have to literally fight them with purpose. Because if you don't think about it and actually say, okay, this is a very crucial time. This is the end of the year. Some people may be thinking that a day, that's too much, if you go from not knowing, never having thought about time, and then now you're saying, do something per day. How about every year? Right now, it's December 2017. The new year is coming. 2018 is coming. You can evaluate. At the moment, I am in solitude right now. Another thing I learned from you. I am in solitude. I am taking some time, alone time, to be with God, to think, to really write down things. I am evaluating how the year 2017 went and all the things that I managed to do, the products that I managed to produce. Not just, wishy-washy. What are the concrete products that came out of me in 2017? And even now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I'm so much better than I've done before, but I'm seeing so much room for improvement as I'm speaking to God and praying. I'm understanding 2018. I'm now thinking, I'm taking this time to plan out 2018. If I produced a book in 2017, my own book, my first book. Now I'm thinking in 2018, I need to write 2 books. Now I'm thinking goals. Okay, in 2018, I need to write 2. You've got to now think, be purposeful. What are your goals? At the end of 2018, where do you want to be? What do you want to do for the kingdom, for you? What do you want to produce? That purposefulness doesn't just come. That purposefulness doesn't just come just going, just living, even maybe waiting for your pastor to tell you, it won't come that way. It won't come just existing. Existing will not, it's not just going to pop into your mind out of nowhere. You have to think about it and you have to be purposeful about it. And actually, this brings me to a big point that you talked about in the book. And this, again, I'll tell you the result, because the result was very drastic in my life. And this is the habit that we have of church going just out of tradition. Just going to church because, that's how we've always done it. One needs to ask themselves, you need to ask yourself, is that the best way I could be investing myself? Before going to, and I know that going to church is one of those sacred things, especially if you've been a Christian for a long time. Many people listening to this, have been in the Christian community. This is one of those sacred cows that cannot be touched, or going to church time. But I'll tell you, Dr. Sunday, I started working on this book in December last year. I have not been to church since then. That was the drastic thing that happened to me. I've been to church 1 or 2 times, but I stopped going to church because when I evaluated things and the time that I was spending there, the fact that the sermons I was listening to in church, I could almost preach them myself. I'd spent so much time in the Word. These things that were being taught, I knew them. Like where the preacher says, let's open to this verse, and the verse by your head. You don't even need to open your Bible. God really challenged me through the book. What do you do with your time? And said, is this the best thing you could be doing with your time then, going to church, just getting more and more of those verses? Or can I go away, get into a place, take all that church going, take it all, and convert that into products? Can I take all that church going, all that anointing, all that prayer, all that Bible reading, all those Bible verses that I knew by, I knew them all. I had so many sermons. I had sermons that I was waiting, one day I'm going to have my own pulpit and I'll preach these sermons. And God said, why don't you convert them into something that is helpful for the city of Derby? Instead of waiting for, someone is going to give me a pulpit in my own church one day and I'll preach. Purposefully go out. I ask myself, time spent solving a problem, that's the point that you put in, is that time spent solving a problem will bring more glory to God than going to church without having anything to show for it. Time spent solving a problem, that will bring, it will bring so much more glory to God. We are wondering, oh, how can we be evangelistic? How can we be better evangelists? If we actually solved the problems of the people in our city, we wouldn't need to go for crusade. London doesn't need another crusade. Derby, my city, doesn't need another crusade. If we spent, and that, what you said, what do you do with your time, sir? What do you say, what do you do with your time about that? Stopped me in my tracks. I had a conversation with my pastor. I explained to him, this is what I'm doing. You know, I need to work, and I still see him here and there. I go to some events to support conference and all this. But I am now very, very particular. I need to convert all those things.
Now, what have you been able to do since you stopped wasting all that time in religion and in church going? What have you been able to do with that time that you are able to conserve and save and use for your own purpose? What have you been able to produce? What are the products that have come out of that?
Okay, so I had to put them down in a bit of a list because
yes.
Some of the things.
Yes, let's hear them.
So first of all, my gift and my purpose is, and looking at my purpose and my calling is as a teacher, a man who loves wisdom. I love the wisdom of God and everything. So I started a brand, my personal brand. So I actually started Rick Matsoko Tere personal brand. That's the first thing, because from me itself, where I'm a teacher, I am bringing my gift of wisdom. I am using many ways to speak to people and teach people in my various communities the things that I have learned. I spend a lot of time converting. The things that I do. I convert. Let me show you some of the things I convert, Dr. Sandy, because I have to put in. I convert the knowledge that I've collected over the years. I convert the wisdom that I've then got by applying all that knowledge. One of the things I do when I get knowledge, I like to apply it. I'm converting my 20 years of Christianity, taking it and translating it for people maybe who don't understand church terms. So I spend time really putting it that way. Some of the things I've learned from DSA teachings, I'm converting that. I'm turning that into something. So, let's say you have taught a message. Dr. Sandy Adelaja has taught a message, and I'm like, wow, this message would be so powerful and useful for my country, Zimbabwe, because my country, Zimbabwe, right now has just gone through a political upheaval. There's been a change of leadership. And a lot of the teachings about how to use work and the dignity of labor, I need to take. But instead of just doing the easy thing of sharing the message that you did, I spend time, because I speak their language. So I know what the wisdom you are giving, then I speak it in their language, and I then go and I distribute it in the places that I know that Zimbabweans hang out, that my fellow people. So I do a lot of work. I spend a lot of time researching them. What are the groups on Facebook that they all go to? What are the, what's the language? How can I put it into my own language sometimes? How can I speak it? How can I apply it to all this? So my personal brand does a lot of that. It converts. On my personal brand, I'm speaking about I started something called the Journey to £1 Million. Journey to £1 Million is a vlog, is a video blog, articles chronicling the way that I am applying Dr. Sunday's teachings on the laws of money and how to, because again, I was very broke when we started this and I wanted to build, but also that I know that God called me to be a millionaire.
Is there any way for people to follow and read those video blogs?
Yes, the page for that is just on Facebook. You can just search for Rick Matsoko Tere.
Okay.
I have a fan page there, so you'll find my personal profile and my fan page.
Okay.
You can add me as a friend on my personal profile. I'll accept any of my DSA family, but also a page there. But also I have a place called just my website www.rickmatsokotere.com.
Yeah.
I have that as well.
Okay.
This is where, and I'm vlogging because imagine if the Bible tells the story, for example, of Joseph and how Joseph went from being a slave until he became the prime minister of Egypt. Imagine if he had a daily video blog and every day Joseph was telling you what he did every single day to get there. I thought that is a great idea for for something. People would love to see that. Sharing honestly my struggles, even when you starting at the bottom, using when you have a minimum wage job and you don't have like many, because everybody thinks it takes money to make money. These are these are some of the products this is just one product that's coming out of me. I do something called morning meditations where I noticed that on Facebook there's just loads of negativity, but I wanted every morning to share an inspiration, a quote, a statement from Dr. Sunday Adelaja, something like that would just inspire my friends, like inspire them and give them some hope. It's not churchy. There's no verse and chapters. It's because I understand that my audience is different. Like, we make that. I speak a lot about work and jobs. That's another type thing I'm speaking about because that's one thing I know. I've spent it many times in work and jobs. So, again, on my personal brand, I speak about work and jobs. That's going to be something I'm doing in my city as well. And, education as well is something that's so big on my heart. Like I say, I'm a teacher.
And you are developing plans to help your city, right?
Yes. And this is one of the products that we're getting into. The second product that came out of me this year that I spent time doing is I wrote my own first book called Minimum Wage Revolution. Yes, thank you. I published it last month. The learning curve of writing a book. Dr. Sunday, I respect you so much now, understanding what you have to go through when you write all those books, because just writing one book. But that book was actually, because it's called Minimum Wage Revolution, and it's to help people.
So just staying home from Sunday services and church activities, you could actually write a book.
And I wrote a book.
More than that.
I wrote a book. Well, if I look at this year, I wrote my own book and I edited
2 books.
3 of your
three
books.
books, yeah.
Yeah. I edited 3.
And then you had many other products. Give us more products you have done.
Yes. So the Minimum Wage Revolution is actually the first step of something that I spoke to you about in our Kingdom Fruits, which was called the Derby Plan. That's something that I'm doing in my local area, where I'm setting up a company called Employment Training Derby, which is going to solve the problem of underemployment and unemployment in my city. Taking the principles of work, jobs, the principles that I learned about how to start from a minimum wage job and work your way up, taking all those things and giving them to the people in my city maybe who feel, I have no choice. A lot of graduates are coming out of university. They're not getting jobs straight away. They don't know. A lot of kids are leaving school. Maybe they failed school and they think that their life is over. They don't have to there are so many avenues that they can do to create their career. And I'm doing that right now in my local community. That's another product that's coming out. Another product that come out is Legacy Books. It's a company that I set up, which is a library of kingdom wisdom that are books that are either edited by me, written by me, or just simply being sold by me that I'm actually bringing out. Because one of the things I notice is that there's so much ignorance out there. The kingdom wisdom is not out in the world. And I think that they're bringing out. So even I was very interested the other day when you were speaking, Dr. Sunday, about are there people who want to distribute your books?
Yes.
I would definitely be emailing your team.
Yeah, because I want to use the opportunity to tell everybody, this is the book we are reviewing right now. And this is the book that Rick is talking about. He read it very well thoroughly because he edited it. And it's called What Do You Do With Your Time? And every one of you could become not just a reader of the book, but you could actually make money from these books. You could actually become a distributor. And you are going to get more than 50% of the money that comes on every book. Maybe 60%, maybe more than that. I'm not interested in the profit. I'm not even getting any money from it. But it's for people just to be able to get the book and read. So you yourself who is listening to us, you could get opportunity to be able to read these books and then to be also be able to distribute them and be able to make money for yourself. And they'll also be able to be a blessing to other people. What about converting your time? Learn how to convert time. That's what this book is talking about. Instead of wasting it on religion, begin to convert, add value to yourself, add value to others, convert time, and then you'll be able to enrich yourself. And see, from depression just 1 year ago, from being in depression at the verge of almost understanding what people who commit suicide do, from that into becoming an author himself, and into becoming a solution provider for his own city, and resolving the problem of unemployment in the city and underemployment in the city, and producing his own book, and starting a library of books, and coming up with so many projects in 1 year. For so many of us, for all our years on earth, we don't even produce one product. But see how many products this brother has been able to produce in 1 year of coming in touch with Pastor Sunday and reading this book. This is what to do with your time. This is conversion by excellence. And for you to get all those books, just write to DSA's Books, one word, DSA's Books @gmail.com, or go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books. Yes, sir. Continue, sir. We have about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, okay. So there's a couple of things then that I learned from the book, What Do You Do With Your Time, that were amazing. I found your story, Dr. Sunday, to be very, very inspirational. That impacted me so much because I saw myself in your struggle, that struggle you had, where intuitively, deep inside. I think it's God speaking to our spirits. God is telling us that there's so much more that's inside us, but we are just, we're not producing any products. We know intuitively that our life has to produce something more than just the usual thing. When my peers are saying, oh, we want to go to the club, or, let's all go out, let's go do this. For me, intuitively, I know that that's not what life is about. That can't be what life is about. Life can't be just about parties and then, go home. Drink, go home. That's all that intuitively I know. So that's a very powerful part of that book, and how you looked, when you say, do I have a product? If you ask yourself, do I have a product I can point to over the last year? Have yourself that honest conversation. Then on the next year, you can then produce a product and get better every year. Because I really feel that feeling now. After producing my first product in my first year, that's why I took this whole month as solitude, because I know that I can do so much more. The next year coming, it's so just doing a little bit this year showed me that the future is bright. The future, there's just nothing but possibility in God. There's nothing but possibility. I can produce so much more product. I want to challenge myself now that the things that I produced in 1 year now, I need to produce them in 6 months next year. It has to be 6 months. I need to get better. I need to become better at doing it. My writing has to be faster now. My writing and my thinking has to be even quicker. That is the other thing where you invest time in adding value to yourself. I'm going to make myself a better writer, because thank you so much, Dr. Sunday. You got me on that. You taught me how to be a better writer. But I now need to just get better and better and better and produce more products coming up. Distractions. That's a big one. You need to decide how you are going, how much distractions you can cut out of your life. And that has to be something you do purposefully in advance, so that when the distractions come, they go. A big one is just your family and friends. People you actually love can be distractions for you. And sometimes you may have to have difficult conversations with them. When they want you to just hang out with them and just kill time, you have to have that thing that says, guys, I'm sorry, I need to go to my laboratory, I need to go to my library, I need to go to my wherever you need to go for a bit to produce your product. You can't just be, for me, I had a big thing where I was so happy about the things I learned in this book, What Do You Do With Your Time, that I wanted to show my sister, I wanted to show my brother, I wanted to show my mother, all these things. I was like, oh, guys, there's so much wisdom. And they liked it at first, and then they fell away. So they tried to do it at first, but then they fell away. But then they're like, oh, come and hang out with us. Let's just watch some TV. And I said to them, no. You guys couldn't. I told you I showed you what it is I do. I have to go do this. You couldn't do this. I understand. Maybe you need some time, but we can't hang out as much. We cannot just be sitting around watching Netflix. That we can't just spend all our days doing that. We have to spend. Those are the distractions. You need to cut them out. TV out of the way. Useless time on YouTube. I spend a lot of time on Facebook, but that's because I'm doing my work there. My Facebook, I'm actually doing a lot of my work there. Unfortunately, I don't yet have a team to do my posts for me, so I have to do them myself. That's the thing that I learned from the book so much. There must be different things that we produce.
What would you like to say to people who are just coming on the platform now? Because you've been on the platform since last year, but many people just came on after it started coming back again. A lot of them don't even know about the resources, about the YouTube series and things like that. What will you tell people who are watching you now?
Okay. If you're just joining us, welcome, by the way. You have made one of the best decisions in your life, watching and partaking in the wisdom that Dr. Sunday Adelaja has to offer.
By the way, before you answer that question, something just came into my mind. Will you say what you used to do before, running after men of God, running after pastor, this mentor, could that also be a distraction, by the way?
I have to agree. It definitely is. It definitely is. Unfortunately, when you have no purpose, what I found was I spread myself too thinly by following all these people. So I could never be effective in any particular thing. So there was a lot of time. There was a lot of time spent doing a lot of things. Now I know that God causes all things to work together. So a lot of that is coming. A lot of the experience I learned from there is coming to hand now. But that in itself is another form of church going that is not very, very useful for you. It's not very useful. Many Christians are spending too much time on Christian television or on various Christian television things and networks that are not very, what are you getting from that? Every day you're watching, but what are you getting? What are you doing? What are you producing with those 2 hours, 3 hours that you're watching?
Where is the conversion? Where is the conversion that this book talks about?
What do you do with your time? And I guess, as I say with what you said with people who are just joining, I have a few favorite series and books. So the good thing about is almost for every book of Dr. Sunday Adelaja, there is a series of videos all over YouTube. You can find them on Facebook as well, and you can find them on his blog, which correspond to that. So maybe even, I understand some people say, oh, I'm not much of a reader. Every book has a corresponding video that you can watch. So you have no excuse. You have no excuse. I would say to anyone who's starting, start by finding your calling, your gift, your purpose.
That's a series.
That's a series. If you go and find a series called Finding Your Calling, Your Gift, Your Purpose, I kid you not, Dr. Sunday, I have listened to each message in that series. There's about maybe 10 to 15 messages. I've listened to each of them 5 or more times. And every time I'm getting more and more out of it. I'm writing notes on it. I'm analyzing it. I'm then doing homework about it. I'm going away and doing research on the things. Because there is so much gold and value that is hidden in that. That's the first thing. If you do that, you will find who God created you to be. And this is the
you normally
thing.
do that on YouTube, right? Sunday Adelaja Official.
Sunday Adelaja Official on YouTube. That's where I go.
Okay, that is the Purpose and Calling series.
Yes,
that
if you go on the homepage.
Yeah, that is probably number 6. Yeah, in the homepage, right?
On the homepage, it's actually number 9.
Number 9. Okay, Sunday Adelaja Official series number 9.
Yes.
Calling and Purpose.
Calling Purpose.
I don't even remember what series, but you remember it. Because you've been going through it so many times.
I go there all the time. I live there. That's a big one. I would say it would really, start by that, and then you will see it will lead you to other things. There is a money series. I'll actually say my favorite books. Because I thought about this. My 5 favorite books.
Yeah.
They have a corresponding series with that of Dr. Sundays. Number 1, what do you do with your time?
Yes. What do you do with your time? That's it.
What do you do with your time? Make sure you get this book.
Yep.
There is a series on time. There is even a series on time and conversion.
Yeah.
That you need to get, as well as a series on
what is the second book? Second
favorite book is Only God Can Save Nigeria. What a Myth.
Are you serious? So you actually recommend this to people who are not Nigerians as well?
I recommend it. In fact, to my Zimbabwean people who are here, and we are about to rebuild our country. We need to rebuild our country.
Right.
Now that Mugabe is gone, this book is... I'm going to be selling this on my website, on my library. I'm going to be selling that book. Only God Can Save Nigeria. What a Myth. It is the blueprint that I'm using for helping my city, Derby, right now. That is the blueprint that I use. The things that are in there.
This book, Only God Can Save Nigeria. What a Myth.
Nigeria.
This will help. So this is happening in England right now.
It will be in England right now.
Talk less of Africa. Okay, what was the next book?
Book number 3. Money Won't Make You Rich. Money Won't Make You Rich.
You read it?
I've read it. I have it on my thing. I have gone through even right now, this month of December, I'm going through each of your sermons on the laws of money, one every day. I listen to one of them every single morning.
So you have to tell them that. So let me tell them that there is a series on money and on the loss of money. And that is the series that I use to raise millionaires. It's series number 4, right?
Series number 4, yes.
Okay, series number 4. If you go to YouTube, Sunday Adelaja Official, series number 4, the loss of money, right? And that is where this book is coming from. And that's what I use to raise 200 millionaires in 3 years. So this is your next book.
Money Won't.
Okay.
Make sure you get that. And then I'll go. The other one is Insulted by Ungodliness. Insulted by Ungodliness.
Tell us about that. Why that? What did that do to you?
Now, this book is probably now, of all the books that are here, these are the book that is probably speaking to my future the most. Because there are things that I see every day when I watch television, watch the news, see what's happening in our schools, in our systems, that I want to address, but I feel that I'm not yet prepared yet to do. But I feel God saying to me, this is your life's work. There's a message under the Calling and Purpose series that's where you said your calling is where what you love and what you hate meet.
Yeah.
And for me, what I love is the wisdom of God. But the thing I hate is when I see the ungodliness that is destroying the Western world, that is destroying America, Britain, Africa.
And this is what this book is talking about, right?
And this book talks about that. And these are solutions that, when I know in my later work, if you want to go into politics, if you want to really affect the world system.
Change your generation, yeah.
If you want to approach 7 mountains, this book here it's
called Insulted by Ungodliness.
By Ungodliness.
Right.
It is your books, Pastor Sunday, are like futuristic. That's what your books are like. They're like futuristic.
Yeah, somebody tells me that all your books are bestsellers. All of them like life changing.
You can't find a bad one. you can't find a bad book by Dr. Sandy Adelaja. You can't.
Which is the next one?
So I put these ones on here. The next one then would have to be who am I and what am I here for?
Okay, we have that one.
Why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here?
That is another serious book.
Yes.
On calling and purpose.
The book on calling and purpose. This is the foundational book.
For people to discover who they are.
I think so. And I think for people to get the most out of your series and teaching and your platform, I think that book, personally, I think that book is the best to start. The book, Who Am I? Why Am I Here? Is one of the best starting places because it will help you put every teaching that Dr. Sandy Adelaja does into perspective.
Beautiful. So what will you say to our time is over now? What will you say before you go to the people watching? Right, you have helped them that they have to go listen to the series, the videos, and then you have to read the books. You mentioned your favorite books, and before we go, any other thoughts that you have that you would like to say that you have not said that you like to touch on, because people are going to go into your vlog now, into your Facebook, and into whatever you are doing. They want to go and explore and get to know you better, listen to your story, so people are feeling like you are becoming a family to them right now because they've heard your story. So what will you tell them? Because I'm so proud of you. All these results and products in 1 year. It's unbelievable.
Well, sir, I am so thankful to you, Dr. Sandy Adelaja. You have changed me. You have helped me so much. Words are not enough to describe the impact you have had on my life. And I guess one thing I can say to you guys, thank you, DSA family. You guys are so supportive. I have people in the family who are buying my book, who have been so supportive, who have been sharing, the links for all my things. So I want to say thank you for that. This place is a family. You can grow in this community, in the community of DSA family. I just want to say thank you. I think that's the main thing for me. I've said everything on promoting anything that I will know of yours. Right now, it's just gratefulness. It's just pure gratefulness because again, even discussing it with you, I'd almost never taken time to see where I'd come from, how far I'd come. It brings me to tears when I think where I was, when I couldn't even afford to put a shirt on my own back. And I just felt like a failure, just being a burden on my mom when I'm a grown man, But even the conversations I had with you, where you literally spoke life to me, the first time I spoke with you, you were so understanding. You were so you were a lifter up. You were a builder. You built me. You didn't tear me down. You just built me, and I'm so grateful, sir. Thank you so much for giving me that chance and for teaching me, and even for taking an interest in what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Well, that is Rick Matsoko. Say your last name again.
Matsoko Tere.
Matsoko Tere. That is Rick Matsoko Tere from Derby, UK. And he's the one that edited this book for me. And it's called What Do You Do With Your Time? It's about measurement of your time. What do you use? How do you measure your time? You have to measure your time by product. By the product you produce in a day, by the products you produce in a week, by the products you produce in a month. And your job is not your product, your wife is not your product, your children are not your products. They are more valuable measurements, ways to measure your life. And if you have not read this book, you have been missing out a big time. And I want to recommend my other bestsellers. This one of my top bestsellers is called Church Shift, and that's what we are doing in Africa right now, bringing about church shift to the world. And then Kingdom Driven Life. Kingdom Driven Life is another book that is really a bestseller. Now, I had a covenant brother in my life that passed away, and it was a big tragedy to the world. So I wrote a book about what to do when bad things happen to good people. It's called Miles Monroe. Finding answers to why good people die, tragic and early death. So this is one of the books also that you want to really give to people in this new year. And then we're giving everybody an opportunity to be able to distribute the books and make as much money as you want to make for yourself. So if you want to be a distributor and make money for yourself, write to dssbooks@gmail.com. dssbooks@gmail.com. Or you might want to just, go to my blog, sundaydelajablog.com /books. And I will see you tonight in the next 30 minutes. I will be back on YouTube and Facebook in the next 30 minutes to continue my live series. But you know what? Life is being changed here in this place, and we are also having an event in Ukraine from the 2nd to the 7th of January. If you want to join us in Ukraine and attend the History Makers Training, the HMT, you need to go to sundaydelajablog.com /visit. Or if you want to join our Nigeria project, you might want to go to sundaydelajablog.com /Nigeria. So that's the way to do it. Or if you want to write to me for the books, write to vip@godembassy.org. Or if you want to write to me concerning this project we're having, our Kingdom Fruits, you want to we feature people whose life have been changed on my platform. I give people greater platform, expose them to the world, but that's what we call Kingdom Fruits. If you want to join Kingdom Fruits, you want to be a part of it, write to vip@godembassy.org. vip@godembassy.org. If you want to be featured here, if you want us to also invite you, or if you have read any of my books, you've read any of my books, just write to vip@godembassy.org or write to dssbooks at gmail.com and say you've read a book, and if you've been blessed by that book, we want to invite you as well so that you could also share your story and share your experience of the book you have read, of DSS book that you have read. So if Rick doesn't want to say anything anymore, we'll meet in the next 30 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, friends. I will be back in 30 minutes. God bless. Peace.
God bless you too, sir.
Bye.